The two time travel ones I want to play are Radiant Historia, which I think was for the DS. But when I was playing Stories Path of Destinies, everybody's like, you should play this because it's exactly what you're describing. And I also want to play Chrono Trigger because I heard Chrono Trigger was like just amazing across the board.
Now they're saying it's like I never played the game because of the way I explained it. I'm doing the thing that Wander does when he explains Kubro to me, where I simplify the thing in a not entirely sensical way because I'm explaining to someone who doesn't know the plot of the game.
Yeah, it's
like the ultimate villain of that game is somebody who's trying to kill you because you keep time traveling and it affects somebody that they care about. So I just cut to the chase and said you're being killed by a time bounty hunter. Is what I said.
It makes total sense. Because if you do the shell thing where you explain the entirety of the plot, I'm gonna get a glazed look on my eyes and think
we're
about
gonna hear
other things.
about a nonsensical Star Wars character no one knows about, and she's gonna go on for 7 minutes about it, and we're all gonna lose track of where she was going.
Like I love Shell and I love her stories, but brevity, this is solo wit, and half the time I lose track of who she's talking about because there's so many things going on all the time.
Also, if anyone ever criticized Lightning for basically being Cloud, like a shameful like gender swap version of Cloud, so they could dip into the well of reusing the most popular character of the franchise. Essentially, the villain of 10-2 is Sephiroth. Like everything about its visual design is like I'm a Native American Sephiroth. It's like this is
10-2 or 13-2.
13-2, sorry. 10-2 was Charlie's Angels, the video game.
It was.
It was amazing. It was amazing if you're already okay with of them being kind of dumb.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw the trailer and I'm like, this is gonna be stupid. I started playing it and I'm like, this is stupid, but it's fun stupid as opposed to like
the good stupid.
Yeah. Oh, we gotta be downstairs.
I've played a lot of bad stupid Japanese games, so fun stupid is pretty nice sometimes.
Yeah. Like if the gameplay can back up a good if the gameplay backs up a dumb story, I don't mind.
Yeah.
What's a good example?
And the gameplay is more or less Final Fantasy X's gameplay, but with job switching constantly.
Yes. I've told you about Chroma Squad at least a little bit, right?
I just know that it's like a tactical game.
It's a tactical RPG. It's honestly
with
probably one
Power
of the
Rangers.
Yeah, it's probably one of the stupidest premises for a story I've ever played, and I loved every minute playing that game. You start off as like a bunch of just like stunt doubles for Power Rangers, effectively, and you get mad at your director, and you make your own studio, and by the end of it, you're in space fighting like actual overlords that have come to take over Earth. And the plot never dials it down from like 11 on the stupid scale, and it's great. It apparently also had how dumb it was.
Like how dumb 13-2 was. There's a part where the villain explains to you, every time you travel through time, it kills my girlfriend. Basically, not girlfriend. It's like a girl. It's like a woman he's guarding or something. That's like some sort of manifestation of time or something like that. Every time you travel through time, it kills her somehow. And I think at one point you even witness her die. But like, if you're traveling through time, I can't help but wonder like which version of her dies. Like she dies and comes back to life over and over again, and then he's trying to save her from the suffering, basically. But like. Is it like wibbly wobbly Doctor Who timey wimey? Like, if I time travel at 1987, which version of the girl dies when and stuff like that? Like, because like there's weird inconsistencies there, and it's never quite explained. It's like, is he trying to undo all of the time travels you ever do to maybe stop from ever dying, or it's like it's a weird thing of like this is the most weirdly complicated explanation for a villain's motivation ever, and. And the game ends and you win. Because it's actually really easy, so you don't get much more than that, honestly. Go.
Scans indicate our target is in the vicinity.
But really, this dialogue's important, right? This is just
no, it's not. She's just saying.
Yeah, it's the generic mission one.
The annoying part is she's like. The target's in your vicinity as I'm shooting at him. She should be like, shoot him! Just shoot him!
Just like walk up to people and incinerate them.
Yeah. Like, it bothers me that there's...
Because they beg for their lives, and you're like,
oh, yeah. It's kind of freaky. Like, I really wish they'd actually, like, get more into the backstory and, like, the depth of this game. And, like, the society.
Oh, God.
You okay?
There's a lot of guys. I'm probably okay, but there's a lot of guys.
Just Tesla them and then turn on speed boost and run away very fast.
I used up all my stuff.
Oh. Just
Here
bullet
we
jump
go.
out of there. Enemies have, like, shit aim if you're flying.
Just feels weird to ignore everything. I keep
At
wanting
the
to
same-
fight everything.
At the same
There we
time,
go.
if you want experience or money, there are way better places than this for that.
Here we go. But you want to hear about the single dumbest thing that really broke me for all of Final Fantasy 13 too? Like the
What?
single moment. This will be spoilers for 13-2, obviously, but it's a mid-game thing, like not the ending or anything. So Hope shows up in the game, but he's an adult now, or at least he is in one of the periods you encounter him and stuff like that. And so Hope's like the whiny kid from the first game that was like, "You killed my mommy," or
Yeah.
even though she died in war, but I'm gonna blame you, and this, my whole arc is attacking you for it and stuff like that.
Done here, Tenno.
Go to the future and you fight a robot, and it's like a super badass boss robot thing, and you find out that it destroyed all of humanity. The entire future's gone. It killed everything. And then you find out that Hope built it in the first place. So you fight this thing. It's actually a very easy boss fight, but every time you get its health low enough, you get a dialogue prompt out of nowhere to pick one of 4 different dialogue options. Just shout for no reason. And there'll be stuff like, "This is really hard," or something like that, or like, "Come on guys, band it together," or something like that. I don't remember the exact dialogue options, but one of them is ultimately to just yell at Hope for making the robot in the first place. Hope, who is not there, by the way. It's an empty room of your party fighting the boss fight. You can yell at Hope, and when you yell at Hope, it turns out that Hope, from the past, was looking through his magical time travel monitor into the future and watching you fight the robot, and you yelling at him makes the robot disappear because he never makes it.
So he can see this robot in the future. He sees that it murders humanity. He's okay with it until somebody that he knew
Yeah.
gets
Like
pissed at him for it.
It's like the laziest lampshade plot point of like all you had to do, like they try to make it as if you're somehow doing it, but literally if he's already looking in the future, he know that the moment he looks forward in the future, he knows what happened, so he would then not make the machine, especially since it kills him. Like it kills the future, it kills everyone in the future, including him. So if he was ever going to look in the future in the first place, then he would have then not built the machine. And like, what sucks is it would have been so easy to make this make sense, because all you have to do to fix this plot line is you go to the future, you find a horrible machine that killed humanity, you defeat the horrible machine, you find out Hope built it, go back to the past, tell Hope not to build it.
Yep.
Like that's still technically some kind of paradox, but you could pull out some time, like Doctor Who bullshit of like, I'm a complicated time whatever the fuck, so like I can create paradoxes, it's fine. So like you don't have to deal with the plot point of like but like you don't have to deal with the plot point of like, well, if you don't do the machine, then didn't you never tell him to not make it, and it loops back on itself and undoes itself or stuff. Like you could do a lot of storylines just do the Doctor Who bullshit of like, I exist outside the timeline because I time traveled. But the simple fact that he was looking towards the future automatically without you doing anything means he would have then not built the machine in the first place, and it would have never existed. Like, you shouting doesn't make any sense, but all they had to do was let you beat the boss fight like a normal boss fight, but then still want to go back in the past because even though you defeated it, it's still going to destroy all of humanity before you get there, so you go back to the past and tell him not to build it. Boom! Easy.
According to chat, the machine made itself.
That's not what the game says. Game says
Alright.
Hope made it, and then Hope doesn't make it, and that's how you beat it.
Alright. Yeah.
Top of not making sense at all is that the machine built itself after it kills Hope in the... That doesn't even make sense either.
Yeah, none of this makes sense. I still want to play through Final Fantasy 13 as like a stream thing with Shell on a couch. Where it's just
The
like...
funny thing is that if anyone corrects me about any part of this plot line, the correction also makes sometimes even less sense. It's like, holy fuck, they really fucked up the story of this game.
Alright.
And like that's a $60 Final Fantasy sequel that like was hyped and like the big thing.
Yep.
And it's like, what
We're having
people,
terrible
like,
luck here, unfortunately.
People
I'm
were
running out of
attached to the
keys.
stories of Final Fantasy games at one point.
Yeah. Yeah. You mentioned that, like, Cloud was, like, the most popular character ever, and that always bothers me a little bit, because, like, there's so many better characters than Cloud or Leon.
It's just, yeah. I mean, I've never been particularly fond of him, but it's just a fact.
Yeah.
It's because it's because he's basically a PlayStation mascot.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, the
He
big
was there at
sword
the right
was
time,
really
at the
cool.
right moment.
Enemy have breached
I
Like how there's
will
a ton
also...
of platformers out there that are better than like there's platformers that are better than the ones that are famous, but the ones that are famous took off, so those are the characters we remember ultimately.
Yeah. I mean, it makes
So
sense. So this is a...
Cloud won the marketability lottery and was the first game of its kind on that platform. So it also sold the most copies.
I mean,
and so it becomes the most popular.
I will totally admit, like, Final Fantasy VII had quite possibly one of the coolest intros of, like, the 90s, 2000s, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, that whole, like,
enemy are using a
you are an eco-terrorist, effectively. Like, that was fucking rad. And I
Kind of like
have...
oh yeah, I always forget how crazy the beginning of 7 is.
It's nuts.
How weird it is.
It
Oh
honestly
yeah, we're doing
doesn't
caches
make
again.
any sense. Yeah, we're looking for caches. Unfortunately, I only have
Yeah,
one
the fact
of
that
these
you're
keys.
kind of a terrorist.
Yeah.
Then again, and on that topic, that's another thing of like 13 trying to remake 7 to some extent, but with Lightning being Cloud, is
The
the fact that
train
you're
and
a
the
group of
heat.
people on a train escaping from a corrupt society.
Yep.
That's also a sort of weird isolated bubble in the middle of a weird wasteland of just nature and stuff. Like they were trying real hard to capture that lightning in a bottle. Yeah.
Even the name, come to think of it.
Yeah.
Lightning, Cloud.
Yeah.
That's
They
pretty
went right back
egregious.
to all the characters being named after nonsense, so everyone's named like Vanille and Hope and Lightning and Snow. It's magic. It's a magical place. Oopsie. Hello. Yeah, it's as far as Cloud goes, it's kind of like how Doctor Who, the most popular doctors and most common occurrences of my favorite doctor when people say that stuff are often the doctor that was there when Doctor Who had a spike of popularity or had a
Yeah.
relaunch or had a particularly long run of one character. Like it just increased the chance that there was the one that they had time to be attached to.
Yeah. I really liked Eccleston.
Yeah. I really like Eccleston too. He's great. It's too bad that he had plot lines involving fart monsters.
Yeah. His plotlines were very pre...
And he has the best Dalek
Lucius.
episode of the entire show.
Which one?
Just
Where
because
the Dalek had the
it's one of those
human DNA?
it's just one Dalek in a building, and it's supposed to be, and it seems powerless, but then it starts escaping, and you see his fear, and it's like the first time you've really seen the Doctor afraid.
Yeah.
It really lends credence to the idea of how monstrous this thing is.
I
And
also
it
love
basically
the fact
promises
that he's...
that's the last one, but then they show up in larger and larger numbers for every season for the rest of the show, and completely ruin that
pissed me off
episode.
a bit. I loved it because it was the only time I've ever seen the Doctor like roll in with a weapon, and it like actually meant something.
Oh shit! I got caught. Whoops! I lost track of how I was doing.
Yep. Like I'm trying to think of other times when the Doctor's had a gun. I guess there's the one time
I don't
when...
think I'm streaming anymore.
Oh, whoops.
Should be recording just fine, but my stream preview looks like it's a still image right now.
Uh-oh.
Try to refresh real quick and see if that maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just my preview. I don't know. Oh yeah, it was my preview. Never mind. That's good news.
I am not seeing any caches. This is not encouraging.
Oops. Do we have to find do we have to find all three of them or just one?
We gotta find all three. Each one has a chance of giving us a
Blueprint?
prime part.
The whole part or a blueprint?
Well, like a blueprint. So there's actually, like, you can get four things from, Sabotage. If you're... if you're lucky. Usually it gives you some, like, random bullshit and one thing. But it's hard to say. I guess we haven't cleared
There we
out
go.
this level too hard.
Funny how conversations loop back on themselves, because right now chat's talking about the Final Fantasy VII movie, which I was actually came up with as a topic of discussion with my roommates today.
Really?
A weird coincidence. Yeah, there was kind of a weird shared praise, basically.
I liked that movie as eye candy, but I didn't like it for anything else.
It's the acceptance of the idea, like, this is a bad movie, but also there's a reason that actually kind of makes it worth watching.
Yeah.
It's I rank it in the same tier as Sucker Punch, as being this film that exists purely to be a series of spectacle scenes. And hell, it's more entertaining spectacle that's more inventive and interesting than like Michael Bay movie where it's like explosion thing, a guy flipping over in slow motion as a girl screams again, kind of stuff going on in those movies. Like, have you seen Sucker Punch?
I saw the first half of it.
Yeah.
It was a really long movie. I got to the World War II sequence, and I was just like, alright, I've lost interest now.
It is a shockingly long movie for what it is. But yeah, it's essentially a sequence of action movie, like, music videos. Like, that almost have nothing to do with anything, but each one of them's just this weird, self-contained, strange action sequence. And it helps a lot that every single scene in that game is a cover of a song that I'm in love with. So it helps a lot at that point. So when they're playing Seek and Destroy and Where Is My Mind and White Rabbit and stuff like that as various like genre-changing covers while completely absurd things happen on the screen. Taking on that value alone, it's like, oh, this is worth existing. It's better than what happened after Man of Steel.
Yeah, Man of Steel was pretty bad. Was that the same director?
Yes, that's Zack Snyder.
Wow.
Director of 300, Dawn of the Dead, Watchmen, then Sucker Punch, and then Man of Steel, and Batman vs. Superman. I'm like, I wish he went back to just making fun things that were dumb.
Well, I mean, he did. It's just he lost the fun part, and he just stuck with the dumb.
Yeah, that's the problem. He just went into, like, depressing bad filmmaking instead of what he used to do, which was dumb, absurd stuff, like 300 and Sucker Punch.
I'm trying to think of, like, game development companies that have done the same thing, because that totally exists, but I'm coming up with blanks.
When people start grimdarking.
Grimdarking,
I mean, Naughty Dog's a company that went from fun to serious, except the thing is that it stayed good.
Well, they never lost the fun element, though. Like, Uncharted games...
They lost the fun with Last of Us.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. But, like, the Uncharted games...
That is the grimdarkiest of games.
The only Let's Play series I've truly kept up with was, actually the one that got me into Let's Playing in general. These guys did a really good Let's Play series of Metal Gear Solid, and then an equally good series of Uncharted. And, like, those games look fun from gameplay, but also, like, writing. You know what? Part of it for...
Metal Gear Solid games are fascinating.
They are.
Because they just exist to entertain.
They do.
Like,
yeah.
every design decision about why does this work this way, or why did the story do that, or why is that character like that, is all like, because it's more entertaining that way. In a weird way, it's almost like this weird... At times, it feels like this video game equivalent of Doctor Who, where things happen just because.
Yeah.
Because what the fuck, Doctor Who? There's whole parts of Doctor Who where you're like, what? Why is the story of this now?
Frame rate in this game today.
Like, I love that in all of Metal Gear Solid 3. There's a character named Eva who is just hitting on Snake non-stop. Just endlessly. And Snake doesn't even slightly pick up on it for most of the game. And we'll, like, in the middle of a conversation, be like, oh my god, look at what this gun can do! And we'll just totally be tuning her out and stuff like that. I'm like, this is great. This is great.
I am really looking forward to playing through Final Fantasy.
This was designed for fun.
Final Fantasy. Metal Gear Solid. Yeah. I'm trying to think, how many games are there where the characters themselves seem to be having fun, and you actually believe it? Like, there's Sonic, where it's just like... Like, I guess.
Yo, but... the cringe factor?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a well-written character that seems to enjoy themselves.
Like,
I mean, Geralt has like this ongoing veneer of like sarcasm and detachment that where he's just clearly bemused by things every time anything happens.
yeah, he's a very well-written character, but then again, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
everything CD Projekt Red has done is gold.
It's almost as
what
if
I've
they have a
seen.
mountain of time to carefully iron out exactly what they want because they're not overseen by a publisher that ruins their products.
Yeah, same thing with... Well, okay, no, Naughty Dog has Sony, but Sony
Yeah,
doesn't
but
seem
Sony
to give a
learned.
shit.
Sony learned to keep their hands away. Most they probably do is say, make a multiplayer. That's probably why there's weird multiplayer modes on their games.
Okay, I'm not finding a single cache. This is really bad.
Nah, I don't think I have either. Not so far.
That sucks.
Fun characters that genuinely seem like they're having fun. Not always easy. It often has to be kind of an unserious game. Like one of the first things that's coming to mind, but I don't know if it's really true, is Infamous Second Son, the new protagonist Denzel. Oh, I don't
Okay, never played that one.
The new protagonist of the Infamous game, or at least the one that's in Second Son, at least, like he is often very amused with the existence of his powers, but the game quickly turns into a dark thing about like terrorism and like you know, like the X-Men plot lines of oppressed peoples and everything. So not a consistent thing of having fun. Not the way that clearly for most of Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake is having a lot of fun.
Totally loses
But I will
his
say
eye.
is that, oops, yeah, did he lose his eye in that game?
Yeah, he does.
I don't remember that scene now. Things get really confusing because of how many snakes there are, too.
Yeah.
There's like 5, maybe? Not completely ignoring the fact that Peace Walker has like a billion clones or something.
Solid Snake, Liquid Snake, Naked Snake, Solidus Snake.
Venom Snake.
Phantom Snake?
A lot of
Trying to-
snakes.
Trying to remember, which one's...
There is an orgy of snakes.
Which game is Phantom Snake in?
I don't know who Phantom Snake is.
Oh, you just made that up.
No, I said Venom Snake.
Oh. Who's Venom Snake?
Venom Snake is shit. Phantom Pain.
Oh, I haven't played that yet.
I kept wanting to say Ground Zeroes, but I don't think it is. Oops. Well,
Let's see if I can get there.
I goofed.
Make no promises. That's a
I
lot
thought
of
I could
distance.
crouch behind cover to stop getting shot in the face for a moment, and weirdly I was pressing the button and nothing was really happening. Not sure why. Yeah, those
Yeah, I didn't make it.
Yep,
You
there
were
we
very
go.
far away. Those gunners
well.
are rough.
Yeah. You go down fast with some of those guys.
Yep.
I have not. Oh, you found a cache.
Yeah, I found one of them. I'm progressing. I'm hoping I'll find some more. Worst comes to worst, we just found one. Or
No,
alternatively...
Chad. I don't think Wander wants you to tell them about. I don't think Wander wants you to tell him about Metal Gear Solid at all.
Yep. I don't mind spoilers for game, but I actually really hate people.
But there's just no
telling me
reason
spoilers
to.
of it. Yeah, there's that too.
There's just no reason to spoil Metal Gear Solid. Especially since a lot of the story is built for what the fuck moments.
Only allows travel in one
Yeah.
direction.
And I've also seen a Let's Play of everything except for Phantom Pain. So, like...
It's not a Metal Gear game unless its story somehow recontextualizes the entire story of the series again.
So, Keith, if you want to try progressing with the story, I can keep looking for caches for a little while longer.
Oh, like go play with the consoles?
Yeah.
And I have filled in a lot of map, and I have not seen a hint of a black case yet.
The problem is they're, like, hidden in really weird kind of bullshit locations to begin with. All of them I don't know. Like, people keep showing me weird bullshit locations where they're hiding, and I'm like, oh. I actually had a fan message me saying, I can show you where all of the secrets are for everything, and, like, let's go right now, and I'm like, no. I don't want that at all. Like,
Rough just how many spots there are to explore.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely hard to deal with. There's like a waterfall spot that I'm looking for now. I really wish it like
Gun
showed up
guys
on
do
my
not
map
want to
or
go
something.
down.
No, they don't. Seriously?
Come on.
We didn't have a waterfall
Come on.
room at all.
Die for me. Die for me. There we go. Ooh, they exploded. That was satisfying. There we go. There we go. Oh!
Is this a little nothing room?
Yeah,
This was a little
Metal Gear
nothing
Solid
room.
5 is a super strange case as far as story goes, though.
Yeah. I firmly
partic-
believe Kojima knew the writing was on the wall. Like, very early on in that project.
Yeah, it's a weird case because it's a series that was constantly... Every game was supposed to be the last game for like 4 games.
Yeah.
So every game is written for a while to not have follow-ups in a weird way. Like, in particular, Metal Gear Solid 2, when you get into the story of it, it's hard to identify whether or not any of the events of the entire game actually happen at all. Like, that's the kind of bullshit, crazy, like, story-breaking things that the series likes to do. Is that 2 in its entirety might have never happened.
Yes. 2 was so weird.
In fact, it was actually relatively easy to come up with reasons for all of 2 to not exist until 4 came around and started taking characters from 2 and having them in the real world, even though 2 was like exclusively in a simulation, pretty much. Like, there's that kind of crazy stuff going on. I was like, wait, the things from the simulation are now here in real life? And like, what the fuck does anything mean? I don't know what it means.
I didn't realize that 2 is like directly supposed to be simulation. Like, I knew they had like weird AI bullshit as part of it. Yeah, so for these caches, by the way, you're supposed to actually be able to tell them by sound. I stood next to one for like a full minute. I could not tell what the hell they're supposed to sound like.
You gotta get good, Wander.
I tried, man. They're too high-pitched for me.
You gotta get good.
Fucking... I hate that phrase.
I know. I know. Because everyone should. I think the people who say it hate it, too. Like the most condescending remark ever. Well, not ever.
Yeah, there's some other ones.
Yep.
Oh, I hate it when people like kind of you've messed up or something and people are just like nice job in the like the most snooty way possible. Especially when it's like something that mattered. Like, oh shit, what was it? God, I think I like ruined an art project at one point and some kid was just like, nice job. And I'd never even like really interacted with him before. Oh, hey, I found the last one.
Kill that portal monster. Trying to murder your friends.
Found all the caches.
Okay, I'll be there shortly.
Knowing bubble stuff going on here, but everything hurts me.
There we go.
Everything hurts.
What other things are there?
Everything hurts. Ah. Yeah, have you seen the stuff about how, like, in Metal Gear Solid 5, there's just an entire chapter that people have found that is not in the game?
What?
Yeah, there's a whole mission that, like, follows up on storylines that never get followed up on in the main game that have been found, like, in files or, like, a tech demo or something.
Oh, and they cut it out
Like,
and
you
stuff?
You can watch the incomplete chapter online with, like, cutscenes and everything. You're like, what the fuck?
I'm trying to
Not in the
remember
game.
what other games do that with the nonsensical, like, people go, like, delving into files to, like...
I did not see you go through the portal, by the way.
Gotta go fast.
Did not even notice you come into the chamber.
I actually jumped, like, flew, more or less.
Because
So that's not too surprising.
yeah, for those that don't know, Metal Gear Solid 5 just ends. Play a bunch of missions, and then out of nowhere it's like, oh, credits, it's over. What? Like, with almost no actual conclusion to the storyline, it's just like, oh, it's over now.
I mean,
Oh,
I
fuck.
really think Kojima knew that Konami was giving him the shaft at the end of it, and it's just like, alright.
I think there was just a work in progress, and like all that controversy happened, and they literally were like, how many missions are currently completed? Alright, that's how long the game is. Roll credits.
Quick,
Because the game has one...
You got the key.
I guess those are called episodes, and the thing is divided into chapters, like the overarching chapters. But the game's only divided into 2 chapters total, which is weird. And the first chapter takes up like 2/3 of the game and has a clear beginning, middle, and end, and an ongoing storyline. Second chapter is like half of it is these story-driven missions that look like they're going to go somewhere, but they kind of don't. And the other half is literally like challenge variations of missions you've already played.
From what I saw from Donkey, though, 5 looks like the most fun in terms of gameplay.
It's so good. It's the definition of a game where all of your complaints are in light of how good it is.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm
here
really
are the
excited
massively highlighted flaws because of how shiny it all is.
Who's the, what's the studio that picked up Kojima, by the way? Because somebody did.
Sony?
I want to say either Sony or Microsoft. I hope.
It was definitely Sony.
It's Sony. Good.
And he made a new company.
Good. Fucking like, I don't know what it is.
I'm pretty sure it was Sony. I'm pretty sure they said the games are going to come out on PS4 and PC.
I don't know what it is, but I've been like, the more and more like the industry goes, the more and more I'm just like, yeah, Sony's kind of okay. Like, don't mess with the PS4's like hardware.
Well, yeah.
But like,
if you look at the two right now, PS4 has a ton of really interesting exclusives and developing new IPs and continually good sequels to old IPs. And right now, Microsoft has a lot of really shitty games coming out, or like sequels that are like, wow, this is like the worst one of the franchise and stuff like that.
I will admit, I'm excited for Scalebound, but I think I'm gonna want to see the reviews for it before it comes out.
Yeah.
Because I've been burnt so hard by Platinum recently that I don't want to like touch anything they make.
Like recently, and like with Sony stuff, you have stuff like Until Dawn and The Last of Us, and you have Bloodborne. And on the Microsoft side, it's like, wow, this is the worst Halo game ever.
Yep.
How'd you do that? How did you actually make the worst Halo game? Is more or less what the consensus is right now. Like, oh man. And I say this as somebody who has 130,000 gamer score. Like, because inevitably someone would be like, "There's a Sony fanboy." It's like I have the equivalent of 130 completed AAA games on my gamer card for Xbox.
That is a lot.
Yeah.
Another job well
Alright, did we get it? Nope. We got the thing I needed.
Trinity Prime helmet blueprint.
But as far as Keith goes, fuck him. Wow.
Eco Prime pouch.
We are, what, 1 for 20?
Nice.
That's rough. Horizon Zero Dawn looks really nice. I am super stoked for that one. Who's the company that's making Horizon Zero Dawn? Do you know, Keith? It's someone...
I'm pretty sure it's the people that made Resistance, Fall of Man.
I thought
Could be wrong, but I think that's it.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It's Guerrilla Games. They made
someone
no.
That company had a good track record before Resistance.
Not Resistance, Killzone. They made Killzone.
Oh, Killzone, yeah. I knew it was a Sony shooter franchise, which admittedly was all their companies at one point. At some point they were like, hey, all these companies that make completely different products, how about you all make shooters for a while? That's sad.
I am totally down with Horizon Zero Dawn. It looks really good. And honestly, I've always liked, or at least admired the Killzone games from afar. I've never actually gotten to play them because freaking they were PS3, but still.
I will say that Horizon is a game that looks better before I think about that it's made by the Killzone people.
Really? Why?
I don't like any of the Killzone games so far. Well, no. I've played Killzone 2 and didn't like it. That's what I should say.
Okay.
I have not played Killzone 3. I played I want to say I played the beginning of the most recent Killzone that had like a subtitle or something because there's a weird trend now where games make a trilogy of games and they're forced games on the next console. Yeah. Killzone Shadowfall I played the first hour of and I didn't like anything about it.
Alright.
2 was packed with all those obligatory like, we're on a new console. Our console has motion controls in our controller. We better make them do that every 5 minutes.
So you have
you would like rotate your controller to open a door and stuff like that.
Ooh, I hate motion controls. Why do people think it's a good idea? I don't know. It hurts so much. Okay.
All right, well, I guess I'll just go ahead and single this out now because it keeps going. There's someone commenting on my stream, and now they're sending me messages in the game itself. I don't just like we don't really just let random people join for the most part because everyone wants to. And no, I don't just I don't like doing shoutouts.
Yes.
Not how this works.
I hate both of
Like,
those
I
things.
if you notice all the times that I mention somebody in chat, it's because like there's an ongoing conversation and they're
Yeah.
adding to it.
If you say
But
something
just saying,
that's
"Hey,
actually
acknowledge me"
worth-
over and over again is not something I want to do.
If somebody says something that's like totally worth responding to, I absolutely will respond to it. But if it's just like, notice me, senpai, no.